international best-selling author and Quilly Award winner. But more excitedly, I am the founder of Made to Change the World Publishing, and we have had the absolute honor to guide over 100 authors now to bring their voice, their mission, their purpose, their impact to the world in a way that strategically builds their business and their brand and actually gets results. And so I am so excited to be here with you today. If you haven't been able to tell, I do speak really quickly. I am no fluff, so this is going to be power packed. It is literally going to be actual information that you can implement, that you can use. Take notes if you can. If not, I'm sure Sammy and Ray will send out the recording because it's going to be like drinking from a fire hose. But this is the most important stuff that nobody else is going to tell you, and you need to know so that you don't make all the classic mistakes. So first, we're going to talk about the 3 types of nonfiction books, just to give you an overview. That's really important because once you identify the type of nonfiction book you're writing, it makes the publishing choice easier. It makes the AI choice easier. It makes the monetization and leverage plan easier. And so we'll start with that. We'll also cover the 5 main paths to publishing. Most people think that you either publish with the big 6 in the traditional way, or you have to self-publish. They don't realize that there's lots of options. I'm going to walk through all 5 options that you have so that you know what your options are and what might work best for your overall mission and vision for your book, your podcast, your business, and your brand. We're also going to talk about the hot topic of AI, when you can use it, when you absolutely cannot use it, why, how, all of those details. I'm also an attorney. I spent 22 years with the United States government, so I do understand about intellectual property, copyrights, things like that. And so I can help break down the myths from the realities when it comes to using AI for your intellectual property, whether that be your book or a methodology that you're sharing on your podcast or anything like that. And then I'm going to also highlight some of the key mistakes that authors make and how you can avoid them. So as you can tell, that is a lot to cover in an hour, but we will plow through. So first topic, the 3 types of nonfiction books. Your first is your lead generation book. Okay, this is a lead magnet. It's often a free downloadable PDF, a downloadable ebook. It may be something that in your podcast you link to in your show notes. The purpose of it is to get people on your email list. Okay, it's generally pretty short. It's not where you're sharing your proprietary methodology. It's where you're sharing some tips and tricks on 1 or 2 smaller pieces of material or smaller concepts, right? If the point is lead gen and it's not sharing your proprietary methodology, then sure, go ahead and use AI. You're not going to be copywriting it. It's not a foundation of your business. It's not something that you are going to be known for. So you don't have to worry about the intellectual property protections, right? The voice is very much a how-to. It's like, here's your 10 tips to growing your brand, or the one mistake that podcasters make. It's narrow. You should all have them, but it's not your main book. It's not even a real book. And it's not a foundation of growing your podcast, growing your business, growing your brand, right? It's just to get people on your email list. The second type of nonfiction book is going to be your legacy book. That's also known as a memoir, right? And so that's really where maybe you're sharing your life story because you want future generations to know your story. maybe you're positioning it in life lessons, right? Maybe you're positioning it in highlights or God moments, right? There's a lot of ways you can position your memoir that is beyond birth to death or birth and to that point of your life. When the sole purpose of your book is to share the lessons learned or share your perspective or share your life, you can use AI because you don't need to copyright that book, right? No one's going to steal your life story. And if they do, that's a them problem, not a you problem. It's not going to torpedo your business. It's not going to torpedo your brand. So if you have an epic life story and it's just on your heart that your kids or your grandkids know the ins and outs and know the path that you've taken, then go ahead and use AI. It can be helpful in organizing in particular. Obviously, no AI is going to know your story like you, right? As advanced as AI is becoming, it can't be in your head, in your heart, in those moments when you were 5, or in the moment when you were 12, or in the moment when you stood at the altar. Only you truly know what was happening. And so while you can use AI for that, I highly recommend, if the whole point is your legacy and connection with future generations, that you let them feel your heart and just write it, right? You don't actually need to use AI for that. Now, where we're going to spend most of our time is the kind of book that each and every one of you should have. If you are working with Sammy and Ray, it is because you want to strategically launch a podcast that's actually going to get results, that is actually going to get ears on it, that's actually going to get downloads, that's actually going to showcase you in this powerful, incredible, and authoritative way, right? You want your book to do the same thing. And in that space, then your book is going to be the expert book, right? The expert positioning book, the thought leadership book. And because this is the book that showcases your genius, your proprietary methodology, the thing that you are put on this earth to do, that is your calling, that is your mission, that is your vision, the thing that you must birth into the world via your podcast, via your programs, via your book, you cannot use AI in your book. Period. So if it is expert positioning, thought leadership, you cannot use generative AI. And the reason you cannot use generative AI is because you are not legally allowed to copyright it. So when it is the foundation of your business, the foundation of your brand, you have to own that intellectual property. It is your proprietary way of how you solve the particular problem that you solve for your particular audience. How do you get your audience from where they are starting to where they want to be? That methodology is the same methodology that you are going to deploy in your keynotes. It's the same methodology you're going to deploy in workshops that you may lead, or group coaching programs, or masterminds, or retreats that you may host, right? Whatever the mechanisms are that you choose to deliver your genius to the world, it's still your genius. You still have to protect it. So you want that methodology to be able to be copyrighted, okay? So for expert positioning, no generative AI, because you need to be able to copyright it. Also, AI is becoming more and more sophisticated, as we know. And platforms like Amazon KDP and Ingram Spark are using AI multiple times a day to do AI sweeps. They have updated their terms and conditions that if you used generative AI, you have to disclose it, and they can take your book down. Because it's not actually yours, right? A computer wrote it, you didn't. Copyrights protect authorship. And platforms such as KDP and Ingram Spark are to promote authorship, right? Now, do some generative AI books slip through the cracks? Do they get uploaded and make it through the initial check? Sure. But KDP and Ingram Spark are doing more and more of these AI checks to specifically catch those books that have slipped through the cracks. And if they catch your book as having generative AI, they will close down your account, label it as fraud. They confiscate your book, they confiscate your royalties. You cannot open another account. So you lose everything. And that's the part that people really aren't talking about. Okay, so again, if it's a lead magnet, sure, go for it. If it's a legacy book, sure, go for it. Although it's better if you write it yourself. But if it's expert positioning, thought leadership, absolutely not. Right? It's also really important to know that with AI, as soon as you upload your material, right? Even to have it help you brainstorm, right? That's a lot of people will say, oh, but I'm not using it to help me write it. I'm just using it to help me organize my material. And so you upload your material, whether it's ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever. But the minute you have uploaded your material and asked it to help you organize it or break it into bullet points or outline it for you, you have released your material into the public domain. Let that sink in. Once you upload it to an AI platform, you can no longer copyright it because now you have released that material into the public domain. And material into the public domain is now available for anyone to be able to use. And that is a critical mistake that so many authors make. And they don't realize it because they say, oh, but I was just uploading it to help me brainstorm or help me organize. And they don't realize that just the simple act of uploading your proprietary methodology has already released it into the world. The damage is done. So when I say for these expert positioning, business building books, thought leadership books, you can't use AI, I mean, don't even upload your material. You need to protect it. It is the foundation of your business and your brand. Now, after you have copyrighted your material, so after you've finished your book, before your book ever gets released, you're going to actually copyright it with the government at copyright.gov. Once that's happened and you have a certificate of copyright, then if in the future you want to upload it because you want an email sequence to go out to your audience, or you need a bunch of social media captions or whatever, well, then that's okay because you have the certificate of copyright, and if someone else is trying to use it, you have legal power to shut them down, do a cease and desist, have Amazon take their book down. Right? Amazon will not take someone else's book down if you do not have the physical certificate of copyright to prove that it's yours. You can tell them till the cows come home, yeah, but my book was published first, or yeah, but it was mine, and look, I can prove I've been teaching this methodology for 15 years. Amazon's going to say, so what? Do you have the certificate of copyright? Same with Ingram Spark and any other platform. Right? So it costs $65 to copyright your book. You do not need a lawyer. I walk every single one of my clients through it. It is a step that we take long before their book ever gets released to the world. It takes about 10 minutes, $65. You pay it directly to the government. Again, that's copyright.gov. So don't fall for all those companies that say, oh, you got to pay me $1,000 and I'll copyright your book. Save your money. You can call me. I'll help you. So those are your 3 types of nonfiction books. And we've covered when you can use AI and when you can't. and when the pitfalls around that. Any questions on that before we keep moving? Like I said, we have a lot to cover. You can also ask questions at the end. Okay, cool. I'm going to keep going, ask questions at the end. So next, let's talk about the 5 paths to publication really quickly. First is your traditional path. It is the most prestigious. That is your best shot at the New York Times list. However, you do not write your book if that is the path you want to go. So a critical mistake, a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to write my book and then I hope it'll be published by one of the big 6. That's not how the big 6 works. So for traditional publishing, you are going to have your concept. You are going to hire the best person you can with the most solid track record of success to write a book proposal. Then you are going to go and find a literary agent with the best track record of success you can possibly find. And you're going to hope that the literary agent will take you on as a client. The literary agent then shops your book proposal around to the big 6 and their subsidiaries. If one of the big 6 or their subsidiaries is interested in contracting for the option to publish your book, which doesn't mean they have to, it just means that they'll give you a contract saying that, they want the option to, then their team, their ghostwriters, their interviewers will actually write the book. So with traditional publishing, it is your most prestigious. It is the best path for the New York Times list. It's less than 1% that get a contract for an option to do the book. It takes generally 3 to 5 years, so it's a longer process because first the literary agent has to shop the book proposal, then it gets optioned, then the ghostwriters take over, and it goes from there. Ghostwriting is a much longer process. So with traditional, while it is the most prestigious, you have the least amount of control, you have the least amount of creative input. They're going to do what they want, when they want, how they want, because they're footing the bill, right? And so their philosophy is if they're footing the bill, it's going to be done their way because their way is better positioned to recoup their investment in you. Now, 2 things that the big 6 and their subsidiaries look for are obviously the size of your audience, meaning your email list and your social media. Going to be able to sell more than enough copies to cover their costs of ghostwriting, cover design, editing, formatting, marketing campaigns, media campaigns, and the like. So they want to know that they're going to make their money long before you ever see a penny. And if you have a large enough audience that they will give you an advance, it's important to remember that the advance is just that. They're not paying you to do your book. They're giving you an advance on the royalties that they expect to earn above and beyond all the money they've spent to get your book out and make it a bestseller. Make sense? So within the contracts, it will often say that if you didn't generate enough, you owe that money back. Mm. Some things that you need to be on the lookout for in the traditional publishing house. Who owns the intellectual property? Like who actually owns the copyright? Where does your manuscript live? It's usually going to be in their back office with their distributors. What happens in the future if they decide they no longer want to print your book, or they no longer want to distribute your book, or they no longer want to promote your book? Do you have the right at that point to do it, or do they have exclusivity? They will usually have exclusivity. If they have exclusive distribution rights, exclusive printing rights, exclusive uh, promotional rights and marketing rights, then that means that you're screwed if they ever decide to that your book's passe, they don't want to give it any more attention. So you need to check the fine print in the contracts. You need to ask the questions, right? About intellectual property, about your files, your final files. Do you get them or do they keep them? Right? And again, check for your exclusivity in distribution, in printing, in marketing. Look and see how long you might have an exclusivity. Generally, for traditional publishing houses, it's forever, but you want to make sure that you're checking that. With traditional publishing houses, you often have no leverage. So unless you're someone like Oprah or Jamie Kern Lima or Mel Robbins or someone like that, you don't have a lot of negotiating power with them. So while it is the most prestigious and it is your best chance at the New York Times list, it comes with a pretty high cost, right? So just be aware and know the questions to ask and make sure you ask them. Also make sure you have several attorneys read through your publishing contract, right? Don't sign anything without having it reviewed by attorneys first. Kind of a good rule of thumb all around the block, but especially with something like your publishing contract. Your next rung down is your hybrid house. Now, a hybrid house will often have a combination of you'll pay $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and they'll chime in some money as well, right? So maybe you're paying for the editing, formatting, cover design, they're paying for the marketing. Hence, hybrid house. Hybrid houses have a wide variety of reaches. They have a pretty wide cost spectrum. The cheapest one I know is $50,000. The most expensive I know is Forbes. They go all the way up to $464,000. So hybrid houses have quite a range. Now with hybrid houses, a hybrid house is your only other shot at the New York Times list. None of the lower three can get you New York Times. Your only options for New York Times are a very well-established hybrid house with a solid track record, or your big six or their imprints. So if New York Times is your dream and that's what you're going for, then right away, you know you're only going to pursue either hybrid or traditional. With hybrid, you have more negotiating power. You don't have much, but you have more than you do with traditional. You want to ask the same questions. Where's your manuscript living, right? In your back office or in theirs? Who owns the intellectual property, you or them? Who gets the final files? Will you have them? Do they keep them? Exclusivity in listing and selling and, distribution and printing and marketing. Check for those things as well. So a lot of the same questions. Again, have your contract reviewed. Make sure you are looking for things like marketing. Many hybrid houses bifurcate their contracts, and they have their book writing and publishing contract, and then they have a separate marketing contract. You can imagine the havoc that can wreak if you thought you were in for a certain dollar amount and then later you find out, oh, just kidding, that was only for book, to put your book together, but now you owe them, $1 million for marketing. So again, you want to ask about that. You want to check the contracts carefully. Your hybrid house is also the only one other than traditional that can get you in an airport. So if that's a bucket list thing where you want to be in the airport bookstores, then you also need to go hybrid or traditional. The reason, and this is a great question to ask anyone that you're interviewing, because it tells you if they actually know what they're talking about or if they're full of it. The reason that only hybrid and traditional can get you in a bookstore, I mean in an airport, is because there's a co-op and you have to be a member of the co-op. There's a publishing and book distribution co-op. Indie publishing houses like mine or vanity houses or of course self-publishing, you don't qualify to be a member of the co-op. So with the co-op, it's like 250,000 a year for the organization to be a member of the co-op, and there's all these other requirements. And so, if you meet an indie publisher that's like, "Oh yeah, I can get you New York Times," run. If you meet an indie publisher that says they can get you on the Wall Street Journal list, you should also run because there isn't one anymore. There isn't
Mm.
one anymore. That's a huge red flag. It's been gone for a year and a half or so. I think November of 24, maybe 23. But anyway, it's been gone for a while. So since there is no Wall Street Journal list, if you are talking with someone and they're telling you how they can get on the Wall Street Journal list, you should run because they don't know what they're talking about and they're lying to you. So currently, your only like prestigious lists, are really the New York Times list. There are some smaller ones popping up, but they just don't carry the same weight that New York Times or Wall Street Journal did. So we're all kind of sad that Wall Street Journal went away. But uh, so back to the co-op. That's why you have to be a member of the co-op. Indie houses don't qualify, and so that's why if it's your dream to be in that Hudson books, booksellers in the airport, then you need to go with a hybrid house or a traditional, right? So you can see already that the type of nonfiction book that you want to write dictate, and your ultimate goals for it, right, are dictating already your publishing path, your AI usage. So it
Ellie,
helps.
this is so good. I want to just, I know people are, I like see everyone's faces, and they're like really in it. I want to just take a moment and hear like the biggest takeaways that you guys are having right now. I mean, Ellie, didn't I pre-frame this well? I'm like literally every time I talk to this woman, my mind is completely blown, which is obviously the type of experts we want to be bringing to you guys. But yeah, let's just come off mute. Let's hear some of your biggest takeaways. And we'll keep these short and sweet so Ellie can continue, but just to capture because so much just happened.
I'll go. So the AI, of course I will. Blew my mind. So because we're using AI for everything. So even if you use AI to say like, "Hey, we wrote all this, but edit it," that takes you out of the running.
Yep, because
She
you've released it out into public domain before it's been copyrighted.
so not just for books, but like because hello, I mean we're using AI for everything. So everything
Correct.
that we just created is we're basically like
You can't
screwed.
copyright it. You've released it to the world.
What if it's already trademarked? If the methodology is officially trademarked?
Then you're good because then you should have your certificate, like, the big certificate of
Yeah.
trademark that the USPTO mails out. So that's why you always want to copyright or trademark before you ever start uploading anything. Because once it's out in a public domain, you can no longer protect it because you've already given it to the world for free, right? So you protect first. Once you've protected, then when you upload it, it's in the public domain. People are going to use it, but you have legal protection to say, ah, that's very cute, that's mine, right? And you can
Okay.
enforce the trademark.
So we have a training called duty driven deterioration, and so my business law enforcement coaching, we do first responder training. So duty driven deterioration is our training, our methodology that is trademarked, but then my partner has been writing his book and it's partly a memoir. Duty driven is based off of his lived experience, but he turned it into his methodology. And the book is duty driven deterioration that we intend to sell to departments, but
Yeah.
he has absolutely used AI because
Yeah, we're gonna get with me after and we'll retool it. So I actually have four books that we've done with law enforcement for similar things. So Body, Mind, and Badge right there. That's, navigating trauma and resilience in law enforcement, Mission Freedom right there is active duty combat veterans. Where's Phil's book? Erased but Not Forgotten. That's parental alienation of active duty military. We have a few others as well in there. So it is a space that we know really well, where they are combining their personal experiences, whether in the police department or as a Marine or as a helicopter pilot in special forces, and how that gives them the credibility to birth their methodology, to deliver their methodology, right? To teach it. They're both using it on military bases to deliver. Well, David and Phil are using it on military bases to deliver trainings to military, and Catherine for Body, Mind, and Badge uses it for municipal law enforcement trainings. So yeah, we can talk more about that.
We talked, but we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot before we even got out the gate yet.
Well, you trademark the methodology, but here's the thing about trademark and not like going too much down the rabbit hole. So you can't just blanket trademark something, which really sucks because I have a bunch of trademarks. And even as an attorney with the federal judiciary, nobody told me about the complexities of trademarks until I was in it myself. So when you are trademarking, you can't blanket trademark. You're only trademarking certain classifications, right? And so I would need to know what classes did you trademark, right? Is it audio material, written material, downloadable material? Is it trainings and workshops, which is a totally different class than your downloadable audio material or downloadable written material? So the extent of the protection depends on the specific classes that you trademarked and which specific within that, because, obviously to get your trademark, you had to upload samples and proof of use and, all the things. So which specific subclasses within the class they allowed. So I'd actually need to see your trademark to see, when they say class 31 or class 9 and then they list the sub things, I would need to see that to know whether you've shot yourself in the foot or not.
Yeah, well, you'll see me again for sure.
Yeah,
So thank
just
you.
send it my way. I will look at it. There's all these nuances, and that's one of the things, guys. There's so many people. Like the reason I got into publishing from law was not because I wanted to get into publishing. It's because the first two publishers I worked with tried to take my intellectual property, tried to take my royalties, and tried to totally screw me over. And I was so pissed that, like, if this is their modus operandi, if this is how they are going about things, then if they were trying to take advantage of me, and I'm an attorney for 22 years with the federal judiciary, like, then I knew they were taking advantage of everybody else. And so there are these nuances, and you're going to hear all these experts telling you, oh, it doesn't matter. Your book is a business card. Use AI to write your whole book. Get it out in 30 minutes. Oh, just trademark it. But they don't go into the importance of the classes you select, the sub classifications, what you list. And it's those nuances that totally make the difference as to whether you're golden or whether you're screwed, right? And people don't go into that, and that's where people get taken advantage of, and that's where they make all the classic mistakes. So we can hop on a call, and you could send me your certificate and I'll look at it for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Others? Any others before I keep giving you the fire hose?
Ellie, I think we might need to bring you back to do a whole trademark masterclass. That's what's happening in the chat right now.
Yeah, well, I lived mine. I
Yeah.
have, I don't know, at this point, I think 5 trademarks. And it was like by the time it was all said and done, it was 3 years and probably $25,000 in other legal fees, like just to get them done. Only, yeah. So I learned mine as a combination of I knew the importance of it and I knew the intellectual property firms because, they came before us in federal court. But I did not understand about classifications and subclasses and proof of use and continued proof of use and how every few years you have to send in your samples back to the government in order to keep it and blah, 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 blah. But now I do.
So good, so valuable. Any other big takeaways before Ellie kind of continues on? This is so good.
Okay, cool.
Oh, let's see. Kimber
Oh,
said in the chat, what are the names of the groups that review AI? You said, oh,
oh,
KDP and
it's not outside groups. So KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing. That's Amazon, right?
okay.
Like your book is going to live on KDP, and Ingram Spark. Those are the two biggest book platform, print on demand platforms. Every one of our clients is put on both. They are very different platforms, which is why you must be on both. And also, we don't have time to get into the timing of it. This is why self-publishing is actually a huge disaster because you don't know these little nuances. But there's a timing to when to upload files to which platforms so that they can actually live on both. If you screw up the timing, then one platform will reject it because your timing will be crossed. So there's a whole like science behind it, but you need to be on both. Ingram Spark is the world's largest book distributor to organizations and bookstores, right? So if your book is just on Amazon, which is what when people self-publish, they're like, "Oh, I just put it up on Amazon." Great. Now Target can't have it. Now the library can't have it. Now your local bookstore can't have it. Now Barnes and Noble can't have it, right? Like now universities can't carry it. Like you've just totally screwed yourself over. So Ingram Spark is the platform. Yeah, exactly. I see that. Welcome to why you do not self-publish. Don't do it. If it's a, memoir or legacy, that's one thing. But if you actually want it to go somewhere, don't do it because you don't know what you don't know and you step into all the landmines, right? Like it's just normal. But Ingram Spark is how your books would get, how Target would order it, Barnes and Noble would order it, the library would order it, university would order it. It's also how organizations would order it. So like the National Fraternal Order of Police could order it via Ingram Spark. Right? Like your big national organizations could get it. If you wanted universities to have it in there, I used to be the dean of a school of law and the dean of a school of criminology and criminal justice at California Southern University. And so if I wanted like my school of law enforcement to have Catherine's book, I would be able to get it as a university through Ingram Spark. I'm obviously not going to go on Amazon and buy a bajillion copies at full price if I'm an organization, right? So Ingram Spark is how entities, organizations get your book. Amazon is the world's largest book distributor for individual consumers, right? We all know how to pick up our phone, go on Amazon and order books. So they serve two different functions and they must be on both. But the timing matters. If the timing is screwed up even by one day, you've shot yourself in the foot. So there's an order and a magic to it. So yes, so Amazon KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, does their own AI sweeps. Ingram Spark does their own AI sweeps. It's not an outside company that does it. It's their own proprietary program, and they just deploy them several times a day. Yeah. So okay, so moving on to the third path to publishing, that is your independent publishing house. That's what I have. Indie houses cannot get you the New York Times list. And you will meet a ton of indie publishers that are like, yeah, we can get it. They can't because we can't be part of the co-op. So if they tell you that, they are lying and you should run. Huge red flag. You can ask them if they're a member of the co-op just to see the look on their face, if they know what they're talking about. If they look totally blank or like a deer in the headlights, and they have no idea what co-op you're talking about, you should run because they don't know what they're doing. You're going to ask similar questions of your indie publishing house, right? Because some are shysters, some are good, some are quality, some are phone a friend, right? There's just such a wide variety. You want to always ask to see the publishing contract ahead of time. Do not sign anything without getting the publishing contract ahead of time, looking it over, having an attorney look it over, meeting with them to ask your questions. A lot of indie publishing houses will send you a payment link without ever sending you a contract. Run. Run. It's like Law 101. Do not give anybody your money without a signed contract. And do not sign a contract without having the time to look it over, ask questions, have it reviewed, right? You want to ask them, where is the manuscript going to live? In their back office or yours? Most indie publishing houses will have the manuscript live in their back office because it's much easier. It's easier for us to upload. It's easier for us to navigate. Now, that's a disaster because if they go out of business, they take your stuff with them. It's also a disaster because they're going to tell you, oh, you're going to get 100% of your royalties. Guaranteed they're going to tell you that. But if your manuscript is living in their account, then your royalties are getting direct deposited into their bank account. So how do you know if you're getting the right amount of royalties? And what if they don't send it to you? What if they just get busy and forget or whatever? So now you're not getting your money, right? So it's so important, where is your manuscript living so that you know, do you have complete ownership of your copyright? Do you have complete control over your manuscript? Meaning that you could log in anytime you want to order authors' copies, or to run a promotion, or to pull your sales reports, or to check your royalties, or to get your tax paper, because royalties are taxable. So if it's living in their back office, you're at their mercy if they go out of business. Say you have a big conference coming up, or an event that you're doing, or you got booked to speak somewhere, and you've negotiated as part of your speaker contract that the organizer is going to buy a copy of your book for everyone in attendance. Newsflash, if you have a book, that should be part of your speaker contract. So now you need 500 copies, and you need to get it to the conference organizer on time so they can put it on the seats or put it in the swag bags. If your manuscript is in their back office, you have to email them, you have to call them, you have to hope that they're going to do it in time. And if they don't, now you're the one with egg on your face because you've negotiated this contract and the conference comes and you don't have your books. Right? So you want it in your back office, always in your KDP account, your Ingram Spark account, always. Like, we insist on it. Every single one of our clients has their own KDP account, their own Ingram Spark account, and that's where your manuscript lives because it's yours and you should own it and you should control it and you should be able to check your sales anytime you want. Or if you have a big event coming up and you want to run a promotion where it's, 99-cent Kindle for the next 24 hours because it's driving people to, a big speaking engagement you have or an event that you're doing and you just want the momentum, you want to be able to log in and make those updates, right? Same thing, you want your money directly deposited into your bank account. If it's your KDP account or your Ingram Spark account, then every 30 days, the money gets directly deposited from Ingram Spark into your bank account, from Amazon into your bank account with no middleman. It just goes right in there. And then at the end of the year, your tax paper goes into your account and you get an email that says, hey, your tax document is ready. So you don't want to give up your control, right? It's too important. So you want to ask these same questions, right? You want to ask about final files. You paid for them, they're yours. You should have your final covers. You should have your final interior. You should have all of them. You should have promotional images. You should have rankings, screen grabs as your book climbs up the charts. They're yours. You paid for it. So you should own them. They should be accessible to you. or you can download and keep them. Now, the cost for independent publishing houses ranges hugely. The cheapest one I know is 10,000. The most expensive one I know is 65,000. We're on the lower end. I'm 24. So, there are plenty that are cheaper. There are plenty that are more expensive. But you want to ask the same questions no matter where they fall. Don't think just because they're $50,000 that you don't have to ask the questions. Ask the exact same questions, right? Intellectual property, copyright, where's the manuscript housed, royalties, final files, right? Authors' copies, all the things. Yeah? Your next down the food chain is your vanity house. Your vanity house is just pay to play. They have very little quality control. They're generally your book compilations, which are worthless. And I've done a bunch of them. I've never had to pay to be in one, thankfully. But I've been in a bunch of them. They are completely worthless. They are the fastest way to say you're a best-selling author, like the fastest way to get the accolade. But the book is crap, right? It's inconsistent. Every chapter is totally in a totally different voice. Some are decent, some are garbage. There's no through line. People are just vomiting their story. They're not strategically positioned. Generally, the interior formatting is going to look like a template. It's going to look just basic. It does not build your credibility or authority at all. So yes, you could say, oh yeah, but I could pay $6,000 and get this chapter in this book and I'll be a best-selling author and I'll get to say I'm a best-selling author. And yeah, and the minute you tell someone you're a best-selling author, they're going to say, that's amazing, send me a copy of your book. And then you're going to send them something that is garbage and they're going to be like, And there goes your credibility. You can't get it back. You cannot get it back. So if you want to do it just because it's fun, like I'm in the Chicken Soup for the Soul book, that one, and that was really freaking cool. Like that was super exciting to me that I'm in Chicken Soup for the Soul. Like it was just a fun thing to do. It's just like a dream, right? I submitted, I waited 2 years, and I got selected. Fun. Not using it to build my business, not using it to build my brand, not giving it away. It's just like for proverbial, giggles, where I'm just like, I'm in Chicken Soup for the Soul, right? Okay. So if that's why you want to do something, do it, but just know it ain't gonna build your business. Even though it's the fact that it's Chicken Soup for the Soul ain't gonna build my business, right? But it was super fun. So your vanity publishers are just your pay to play. Like I said, generally it's going to be a book compilation, although there are a few others out there as well. They just say, okay, yeah, great. It's this amount of money and we'll have the book back to you in 24 hours or 48 hours or, whatever the case may be. And they don't have quality control. They outsource everything and it will torpedo your credibility if the purpose of your book is to build your business and your brand. So for vanity, just the pay to play, I would run. Even though I've done a bunch of them, again, I haven't had to pay because I know people that publish them and whatever, and so they just want me in there. If you know someone like that and you just want to be in, because why not? That's one thing. But just don't give your money for it. Yeah? And finally is self-publishing. And we have talked a little bit about why if your purpose is a business building book, that expert positioning or thought leadership book, why it's a disaster. It's because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so either you're using AI or you upload it directly to KDP without realizing the hidden exclusivities that are in there. Or you check the wrong box, or you don't understand the different types of editing, and so you go on Fiverr and you get somebody to do your cover, and your cover's crap because it doesn't actually align with the message of the book, because they didn't read the book, because they were $89 on Fiverr and you didn't send them the book, right? Or you hired somebody on Upwork that said they're an editor, but you didn't know to clarify developmental editing, content editing, line editing, proofreading. What kind of editing are they doing? There's four different kinds. They're very different skill sets. They're very different price points, and you do actually need all four. So you do not need one editor, you need multiple editors, and editing is very expensive. It is the bulk of the cost. So if you find someone who's like, oh yeah, I'll edit your book for $800, you should run. They're going to do spell check and grammar check, which is the same thing that you can do for free. Developmental editing is usually going to be 8 to 10 cents a word. Figure out how many words are in your manuscript and do the math. Like, it's very expensive. Then you have content and line editing. That's generally going to be 5 to 6 cents a word, on top of the 8 to 10 cents a word you just paid for developmental editing. Right? Then you have your proofreaders who are going to be 2 to 4 cents a word, on top of your 5 to 6 cents a word for the content and line editing, and on top of the 8 to 10 cents a word for developmental editing. Editing is very expensive, right? And then you have your page proofers after that. And they will often either be 2 cents a word, 2 to 4 cents a word, or they might do by the hour, where it's $50 an hour or $100 an hour for page proofing.
So real quick, sorry,
Yes.
to edit and go through an independent publisher, what is the realistic ballpark investment that somebody should, like, if we're planning to budget to do this? Because we have 2 books that we want to publish in the next year.
Yeah, so we're 24,000 and that's for everything.
Okay.
That's all, the whole kit and caboodle from start to finish is 24 for us. Others are going to be between 10 and 60 that I know of.
So
The
you guys
10 don't
that
have
includes the
like,
editing. Okay.
yeah, at 10,000, they do not have developmental editors on staff, right? They can't. It's just, I mean, editing is more than $10,000 for us, just to get through each stage of editing, right? And so it's questions to ask when you're interviewing a publishing house. Okay, great. How many editors do you have? What types of editing are included? How many passes are included? Because it should be more than one pass. Now, for us, when my team does a pass, it's like Megan's our developmental editor. She'll go through the whole thing. She'll give it back to you. You'll make your edits. She'll review it again. She'll give it back to you again. You'll make more edits. She'll review it again. Like, for us, one pass is the whole back and forth between you and that editor. For other houses, it's like they read it one time, they left you one set of comments, they gave it back to you. Now that's it. And if you want them to look at your changes, you have to pay more. We don't play that game, but if someone is down at the 10 or 15,000, you can bet that they either don't have developmental editing, or that their pass is literally that the editor reads it one time, gives it back to you, and there's no further review. Just because of the nature of how expensive proper editing is. You also do not want to use AI on your covers. No AI on your covers. No. So when you find the people on Fiverr that are like, okay, well, I can do your cover in 24 hours and it's $89 or $289, you should run, right? First of all, they need to read your manuscript. Second of all, they should be giving you a questionnaire saying, okay, well, what's your business? What's your brand? Who do you serve? Right? How does this book fit into your business ecosystem? What are the monetization outcomes that you're driving them to? Is it coaching? Is it group coaching? Is it retreats? Is it masterminds? Is it government contracts? Is it trainings? Is it workshop? Is it speaking? Like, where do you want this book to go? They need to understand your vision for the book and how it fits into your business, your brand, your mission, your ultimate impact. Right? And then they have to read your manuscript so that they can get the voice and the feeling of your book. And then the cover needs to reflect that. Right? So cover is not done first. You need your complete manuscript in order to do the cover, because someone has to read it. Right? And your cover should never have AI. It should be hand done, completely custom, no templates, otherwise it looks like everyone else's. And you'll see, I mean, you can't see that well, but every single cover is totally different, totally and completely different. And they're all 100% aligned with that particular client's business and brand and clientele and offerings and message and methodology and their vision, right? So no AI on the covers either. Yep. So with self-publishing, again, it's just that you don't know what you don't know. If you're doing it as the memoir, the legacy book, great, it doesn't really matter, right? It's from your heart, it can be out there. But if you want it to build your business and your brand, and especially, I mean, when you're going to all the lengths to have a strategically done podcast, which when you work with Ray and Sammy, they're strategists at heart as well. So it's like, wait, we need to look at the bigger picture and reverse engineer your message, your methodology, your connection points, how you're getting the visibility, how you're building omnipresence, and having this aligned, cohesive ecosystem of what you're offering in the world, what your book says, what your lead magnets say, what your podcast says, what your events say, what your website says, what your social media says. They should all be strategically aligned so that they feed each other, right? They amplify each other. They become the fuel on the Kindle, right? On your fire, like kindling, right? On the fire. And so you're able to amplify the effectiveness of each of your components because all of the components work together, right? Strategy first, strategy first, strategy first. So I know we only have another minute or two, and I do want to be respectful of your time. I have covered kind of within what we've talked about some of the biggest mistakes that authors make. We have touched on AI, the 5 paths to publishing, the 3 kinds of nonfiction books. The other mistake that I will say that I haven't touched on yet, and I'll do it just super quickly, is just sitting down to write. The absolute biggest mistake that an author can make is saying, I want to write a book, so I'm going to write it, right? You have to do strategy first. Because if you just start vomiting what you think you want to say without understanding how it fits with your podcast, how it fits with social media, how it fits with your ideal client, how it fits with the business you have, the brand you have, the offers you have now, the offers you want to have in the future, and how you want that omnipresence to work, then you're going to end up needing to basically retrofit a round peg in a square hole, and it doesn't work. So starting with strategy first and getting clear on all these facets of your business and your brand allows you to then create that aligned ecosystem and reverse engineer the pathway to reach the clients you want to reach, to get the business outcomes you want to get, to have the impact that you want to have in the world. So strategy first, strategy first, strategy first.
But you can't use AI to help you with that strategy?
Nope.
Fuck.
And you don't
Sorry.
need you don't need to. Here's why you don't need to. When you have coaches like Sammy and Ray or me or other coaches to just ask the right questions, you know your ideal client. You know them, right? Your ideal client is usually someone that you used to be at some stage or someone close to you was. So you know them. You don't need AI to tell you what keeps them up at night. It's what kept you up at night, or what kept your spouse up at night, or what kept your child up at night, or your best friend up at night, whoever your ideal client is, right? Like, you've lived it. And that is the difference. AI can give you what it says are high converting ideas, but the highest converting content is your lived experience. And AI cannot replicate that. And so you don't need it. If you have someone that can guide you through a process, you know the problem that you solve. You know your methodology for solving it. You know who you solve it for. You know their psychographics. You know what keeps them up at night. You know what scares them. You know where their saboteurs are. You know where their excuses are. You know where they're going to take themselves out of the game, right? You know what the main objections are going to be, because we're all human and there's only 5 primary objections, right? Time, money, spouse, shame, and self-doubt. Um, they may rear their heads in different ways, but those are the five human objections. So it's like you don't need it. And yeah, AI can do things faster. But when it's the foundation of what you're building, your business, your brand, your legacy, your impact, there's nobody on the planet that could do it better than you. And it's just like, okay, so maybe you have to carve out an entire day, or maybe you have to carve out 3 days. I mean, my book writing retreats, they do it in a week. So, like, maybe you just have to carve out some focused time, but the output is going to be so much better. And it's going to be that beacon. It's going to have the vibration. It's going to be the antenna for your dream client. And right away, they're going to know that this isn't just a book of learned experience. It's or a podcast or a program of like, I read it in a book, I learned it in MBA school, I learned it in law school. It's going to be like, yeah, no, I learned it in the streets. I learned it in life. I learned it when I got knocked on my butt, and this is how I got up. And now I'm sharing it with you so that when you get knocked down, getting up is easier. There's a huge difference in conversion between lived experience delivered strategically and like, let me regurgitate what the textbooks say, what the studies say, what the doctors say, what AI says, or what I learned in school. It's like, not real world converts. So you don't need it.
Well, and that's our thing. Sorry for everybody. I'm like all in it because I'm just worried about with the copy, like what we've already done because we've been learning about AI. So we've been fully like playing in it and doing stuff. And so now I'm just like panic of like, we can't undo what we didn't know. Right.
Correct, but there are ways to shift it.
Okay.
So, I mean, we have clients that come to us all the time that, we're feeding things into ChatGPT. They didn't realize that now it's public domain and they can't copyright it. So we're like, okay, how do we go from here? Let me see what you did. Let's see, like, maybe we can retool something. Maybe we can up-level the methodology. Maybe we can find a missing link in it and create a new, like, next level methodology that's actually going to convert even more. Maybe there are ways for the stories that were shared, maybe we can reposition them, right? So it's like, we can't undo what we did, but we can look at it and see how do we go from here? How do we salvage as much as we can salvage? And maybe we make some, what is it, ikigai out of it? Like, the Japanese thing where it's all broken and they put it back together with gold and it's way more beautiful at the end. Like, maybe it's part of the process. And also then it gives you more of that real world lived experience that you can speak to. Right? Even in law enforcement, even in trauma recovery, even in all these other areas that seem like, well, they wouldn't that be relatable to AI? Like, you can still extrapolate that story because that story is still great on you don't know what you don't know, right? It becomes a great story for overcoming when you shot yourself in the foot or when you stepped in a landmine, right? How do you navigate it? In law enforcement, they do it all the time because changing laws, especially in today's administration, right? So they don't know what they can do, can't do, what they could do 5 years ago, they can't do now. It's a great story of that. Like, well, when you step in it because you didn't know, how do you regroup? How do you make lemons out of that or lemonade out of those lemons? How do you keep going? You can use it as a story for that. So there's a lot of ways where sometimes our mistakes, well, usually our mistakes become our greatest springboards. And they're actually our keys to our biggest conversion because we all have stepped in it in one way, shape, or form many times in this thing called life. So don't panic. There are ways to fix it. I just got to see all your things. I'm an absolute genius in that. So let me see the trademarks. Let me see, what you've already uploaded. And let me figure out the workaround.
Awesome.
Yes, I saw a comment about legacy book, revisiting legacy book. Let me see. I didn't see the whole comment. It kind of flew by quickly.
Think when you were talking earlier about the legacy book and you said if you're writing a memoir, it's okay to use AI
Yeah,
to organize because it's your own personal story. Is
and
that
you're not going to copyright it. Yeah,
and you're not going to copyright it.
yeah.
So you wouldn't copyright a legacy book?
Not if it's just your story. You don't need
Yeah.
to.
Oh, good. Okay. All
I
right.
mean, if you want to, you can, but not if you use generative AI. So that would be one that would be like you would pick
That's
between. But it's like, really, is someone going to steal your life story? And if they do, like, do you care?
Okay,
Yeah, you know what
that
I
sounds
mean?
good,
So
huh?
yeah.
the reason why copyright and trademark is so critical for something that you're using to build your business or your brand is because it's like it's your monetization, it's the foundation, it is your proprietary methodology. It's the thing you want to be known for. Like I am known for strategically crafted business building books. People come to me when they're like, "Oh crap, I made these mistakes. How do I fix it?" Or here's, how I want to amplify things, and I want to use a book to actually do that as client connection, client acquisition, client conversion, visibility builder is one part, but I actually want aligned opportunities. I'm known for that. So it's like your methodology, what do you want to be known for? And if that's the thing you want to be known for, you have to own it. You have to protect it. Your life story, if someone wants to say my life story is their life story, I don't know why they would, but okay. Like no skin off my nose. I'm certainly not going to spend my money to get lawyers involved to do cease and desist and this and that, whatever. Have at it.
Thank you.
This has been so good. Any last takeaways, or you can go ahead and just put your number one biggest takeaway in the comments. And just as we wrap up, definitely, I know we have some new people in here. Make sure that you are inside of our Evolved Influence Academy, where we're going to be hosting these. We have these master classes every week. I don't know if we're forever going to be doing this, but it has been epic. And, something that Sammy and I just love doing is connecting people. And like you can see, it's just super, super value forward. So thank you so much, Ellie, for everything that you shared. I mean, I think there's just so many intricacies. And with each platform and each thing, you just need to have an expert that is on your side. You need to understand and get that guidance and support. And Sammy and I are just so excited to continue to partner with you and see what can happen with our clients and friends and evolved family here. Some other people are saying just thank you so much, so helpful, especially the part of strategy first before publishing. Beware of trademarking, don't self-publish. Ellie is amazing. Looking forward to working with you after March. So there we go. Yes, Susan has her TEDx talk. Like there's so many amazing things happening in here. So informative. And Ellie, what is the best way for people to get to connect with you?
You can reach out to me on social media or on my website. It's just elliesheffy.com. But also, if you want some free resources, I have a ton of them on this very topic, and you can help yourself. They're at elliesfreeresources.com. So you can just literally go there and download whatever you want, help yourself. They're all free.
So good. So good. Awesome. Well, thank you all. And actually, let me go ahead and check my calendar for what's happening next week while I have you guys here. Next week, we're going to be having, who is it? Who is it? Might be a surprise. Next week is a surprise. Tune back. I can't find it quick enough. Anyways, thank you all so much. I'll talk to you soon, and we will be sending out this recording to everyone that's in the school community, Evolved Influence Academy, or if you're a client of ours, of course. So thank you. Thank you. See you soon.
Amazing. So great to spend today with you.
Bye.
Bye.